SpaceX designed the Falcon 1 from the ground up for high reliability and cost efficiency. The first and smallest in the SpaceX family of launch vehicles, the Falcon 1 measures 1.7 meters in diameter, 21.3 meters tall, with a mass of just over 27.5 metric tons at liftoff. It can lift 420 kilograms into low Earth orbit. High-performance carbon composite materials provide the optimal strength-to-weight ratio necessary for each of the two stages. The SpaceX-developed Merlin engine powers the first stage. A turbopump feeds RP-1 rocket-grade kerosene and liquid oxygen into the engine, generating over 78,000 pounds of thrust at sea level. Hydraulic actuators using pressurized fuel as working fluid steer the first stage. Gimbaling of the exhaust from the turbopump's gas generator provides for roll control during ascent. With a specific impulse of 304 seconds, the regeneratively cooled Merlin engine ranks on par with the highest performing gas generator cycle rocket engines ever built. The lower portion of the first stage tank structure contains about 6,800 kilograms of the RP-1 fuel. Halfway up, a common dome separates it from the LOX tank, which holds about 14,500 kilograms of liquid oxygen. The black interstage section, constructed of carbon fiber composites, tops off the first stage and contains the stage separation systems. The flight computer activates stage separation by firing 3 redundant pyrotechnic bolts. Then, pneumatic pushers separate the two stages. The first stage returns to Earth by parachute for a water landing and recovery, much like the Space Shuttle's solid rocket boosters. The interstage section also houses the Kestrel second stage engine. Kestrel generates 6,900 pounds of thrust and uses high-pressure helium instead of a turbopump to feed RP-1 and liquid oxygen into the engine. During flight, Kestrel burns for approximately 420 seconds. It features a radiatively cooled nozzle extension, optimized for use in the vacuum of space. A pyrophoric ignition system makes Kestrel restartable on orbit, allowing for the deployment of payloads into different orbits on a single mission. Like Merlin, SpaceX completely designed and built the Kestrel engine in-house. Falcon 1's second stage resembles a truncated version of the first stage, with a fuel tank holding 1,200 kilograms of RP-1, a common dome, and LOX tank holding 2,700 kilograms of liquid oxygen. The top of the second stage houses the flight computer, which commands all major vehicle activities. The inertial measurement unit tracks the vehicle's rates of acceleration throughout flight, transmitters to relay telemetry and video signals back to ground stations, batteries, and a flight termination system. Above the Falcon 1 avionics bay lies the payload. An aluminum alloy fairing or nose cone measuring 1.5 meters in diameter and 3.5 meters high protects the payload during ascent. About 30 seconds into the second stage engine burn, the fairing separates in 2 halves and falls away from the payload and clear of the vehicle. Falcon 1 provides the world's lowest cost ride to orbit for small payloads. It also serves as a test platform for the development of the much larger man-rated Falcon 9 booster, which SpaceX plans to debut by the end of 2008 and fly in 2009.
Max, I think we're a little less than 15 minutes from launch, so I was wondering if you could tell us about the preparations for today's launch out in Quad and a little bit about the mission profile.
Sure. The vehicle is designed to be integrated horizontally inside the integration hangar that we have on the island next to the launch pad. The stages are shipped there. Usually they're shipped there separately, with the first stage, which is much larger, being shipped on a regular cargo barge, and the second stage being sent on a DC-8 cargo aircraft that regularly flies into Kwajalein. However, on this occasion, we put the whole vehicle in a single C-17 from the US Army and flew it there all at once. Once it gets to the island of Amalek, the stages are integrated together, they're checked out, and then integrated together, then checked out together. The payload, in this case a mass simulator, is integrated to the payload adapter and encapsulated in the fairing, and then that is mated to the rest of the vehicle. And when the whole vehicle is ready, it's rolled out to the pad, which is just a few hundred feet away from the hangar, and connected to the launch mount and erected using the transporter erector hydraulics. This approach dramatically reduces the cost of the ground infrastructure. It completely obviates the need for large vertical structures around the pad to get to the rocket while it's vertical on the pad, because if there's a problem, you just come down horizontal again and take it back in the hangar. It also is safer because it means that all the ground processing can be done at ground level, which is both less expensive and safer for the personnel. The first stage, of course, both the stages are built in the factory here in Hawthorne, California. They are taken to the SpaceX Propulsion and Structures test site in Texas, in central Texas near Waco, to be proof tested for the structures and to be actually fired for the engines. And then final integration is back in Hawthorne. The facilities there on Omelec include a integration hangar and a clean room for payload integration that allows us to integrate sensitive spacecraft and encapsulate them prior to exposing them to the elements, which are quite obviously hard on a spacecraft or a launch vehicle. So once it is rolled out, then it's connected to the launch mount, and all the various fluid and gas connections are made, and they're proofed, usually by a team on the island or in cooperation between a team on the island and a team back at the Launch Control Center that's doing remote control. And then flight termination system checks and radio checks with the range support systems. And then we may or may not do a wet dress where we fuel the vehicle fully, or a static fire where you fuel the vehicle and launch and light the engine for a few seconds before shutting it down again. On this occasion, we did a static fire about a week ago and rolled back into the hangar, and then we came back again, and we are launching without a static fire on this occasion. So on the day of launch, there is basically two procedures that are run. There is the pad preparations procedure and the countdown procedure. Both of them are approximately 2 hours in length. The pad preps includes all the checks for lightning and cloud cover and weather conditions, comm checks between LCC, the Launch Control Center, and the vehicle, all the remove before flight items. The ground crew ensures that they are off the vehicle and accounted for, and all the data recorders and cameras are set, some various checks, final checks of the vehicle and the ground system. And then finally the hold down pins are removed, so the pins that physically prevent the vehicle from being released from the launch pad are removed, and from then on you're depending on the hydraulic system to hold the vehicle down. At that point, about 2 hours before launch, you finish the pad preps procedure and the pad team evacuates the island, because the island is only 7 acres at high tide and is too small to have personnel on the island while the vehicle is being fueled. So they fall back to the next major island to the south, which is called Mech. It's about 1.5 miles south of Omelec. And from that time on, the vehicle is completely remotely controlled from the Launch Control Center on Kwajalein. The countdown procedure consists of a series of checks, notices to airmen, notices to mariners. We get COLAs, or collision avoidance schedules, from NORAD to ensure that we don't launch too close to any existing spacecraft or debris in Earth orbit. We get weather updates. Weather balloons are launched on a regular basis and provide input with upper level winds and wind shear so that we know whether it's acceptable for launch. And the range does a series of other checks for the tracking systems and communication systems. Then there is final configuration of the pad, and at that point, about T-minus 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes, they start fueling the vehicle. Initially, there is LOX load, and that fills typically to 95% and then goes into what's called a topping mode, because LOX is boiling off continuously. It doesn't stay full the way the fuel, the RP1 kerosene, stays full. So it fills to 95%, then goes into a topping mode. The fuel is loaded starting 55 minutes before launch. Around T-minus 30 minutes, which was a few minutes ago, there's a status update from the range verifying that they are still green to support the launch. T-minus 10 minutes, which is an optional hold. There's final verification of COLAs, and coming out of that there is a poll to ensure that SpaceX and the range and the payload customer, on the occasions that we have a payload customer, everybody is go for launch. Some FTS checks, 3 minutes, T-minus 3 minutes, the GSO, the ground safety officer, enables ignition. And then it all leads down to the final 60 seconds, which is all, in fact, the final 10 minutes is entirely autonomously controlled by ground software. And the final 1 minute gets exciting. You see about 55 seconds before launch, there is a thrust vector control test, which wiggles the engine nozzle, verifies that it's responding correctly. T-minus 30 or 40 seconds, the various tanks are pressurized for flight. T-minus 30 seconds, the water deluge comes on. That dumps a lot of water between the engine nozzle and the pad. It reduces acoustics and also helps to protect the pad from the blast of the engine during liftoff. And then about 3 seconds before launch, the engine is ignited. And you'll see that it burns for about 3 seconds prior to liftoff, and that's because if anything is off nominal at that time, we can detect it. Half a second before liftoff, there is an autonomous check by the flight computer, and if any of about 70 parameters are outside of the predetermined thresholds, then the flight computer will shut down the engine and safe the vehicle rather than releasing it for flight. This is a major reliability enhancement for the vehicle. And then at T0, if all is well, the vehicle is released for flight. So let's take a look at the rocket here on the pad. You can see a lot of condensation coming off the top of both stages. That is the result of the very cold liquid oxygen or oxygen vapor coming out the vent valves at the top of both stages. In the minute before launch, you'll see that condensation stop when they close the valves to pressurize each of the 2 stages. We are about 6 minutes from launch, 6.5 minutes from launch, which means we are about halfway through the terminal count, it's called.
Max, can you tell us a little bit about the payload that we designed here that is being carried on the Flight 4?
This mission is launching with a mass simulator. It's about 160 kilograms, about 5 feet high. It's an aluminum tube designed to emulate the way a spacecraft behaves when attached to the vehicle, so it has similar modes, similar dynamic modes to an actual spacecraft. It will not separate from the vehicle in this occasion, so we will reach orbit, we will send a deploy command, but there is no deployment system.
So far we are proceeding without any hold, and we are about 5 minutes from launch. Max, how about telling us a little bit about what we're going to see post-launch in the few minutes we have here, and then I think we'll keep our video live on the launch site here as we are, getting down to 5 minutes.
Sure. At T0, as I mentioned, the vehicle lifts off the pad. The flight computer, when it detects everything is nominal, chamber pressure is nominal, it tells the hydraulic hold-down system to release the vehicle, and at that point it lifts off the pad. The first stage engine, called Merlin, burns for approximately 160 seconds, from 2.5 seconds before liftoff until about 157 seconds into flight. It propels the vehicle from being stationary on the pad about 5 feet above sea level to over 85 kilometers altitude and 2.8 kilometers per second, which is about Mach 8. For the first 10 seconds of flight, the vehicle flies basically straight up from the launch pad, and then it does what's called a pitch maneuver. It begins to angle itself downrange so it can build up some velocity in the downtrack. Getting to orbit is all about velocity. It's not about altitude. It's about 20 times as much energy in the kinetic and going fast enough to stay in orbit as there is in the potential energy to get high enough. So you start moving downrange very quickly and really just want to get up out of the atmosphere and then accelerate laterally. About 56 seconds into flight, it goes transonic and becomes supersonic. Shortly thereafter, it passes through a phase known as max Q, which is maximum dynamic pressure. It's the most stressful time for the vehicle structure. About 158 seconds after launch, the propellants in the first stage are exhausted and the Merlin engine is shut down. This is called a main engine cutoff, or MECO. And about 5 seconds later, the stages separate. We are going to take about a 2-minute break and just watch the vehicle on the pad here.
T-minus 3 minutes and counting.
Bottle chill is ending. Deck 4 is on. LE9 is off. RF power is on.
Verified and current.
T-minus 2 minutes and counting.
Battery chargers are off.
Step 119, LD, verify SpaceX is green.
This is LD. SpaceX is green.
T-minus 1 minute and
GUIs are switched to range
35
source.
seconds mark. Step 120, RCO, verify the range is green.
Range is green.
Moving to internal power. Pre-valve antenna heater is off. Vehicle in auto idle.
T-minus 60 seconds and counting.
Vehicles in startup.
We are at T-minus 48 seconds and counting.
TVC
We
motion
are
verified.
Just going to
45
listen
seconds.
to the countdown net. You'll
Fuel
hear
trim valve
the
activator
launch
set.
conductor calling out the count as we approach T0 here.
35.
Now,
30.
First stage tank pressing.
Deck 1 are triggered.
Water loose system is on.
25.
Vehicle navigation verified.
First stage tank stabilized. Second stage tank pressing.
20.
Second stage tank stabilized.
15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7,
You may hear some
Six.
noise in the
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We're in stage
And
one.
we're flying.
Indication. We have liftoff. SpaceX Falcon 1 launch vehicle. Falcon has cleared the tower. Plus 12.
Pitch kick.
Plus 20 seconds. Plus 30
First is
Are they?
Vehicle navigation nominal and gravity turn.
well, we have that.
Power systems nominal.
T plus 60 seconds.
Go ahead.
Got max Q.
first stage propulsion performance is nominal.
Vehicle has a velocity of 630 meters per
You
second
can
and
see
an
the
altitude
plume
of
of
19
the vehicle,
kilometers.
the plume of the engine expanding as we get into more rarefied atmosphere. It also gets blacker as there's less and less oxygen to support post-combustion.
Vehicle has a current velocity of 1,000 meters per second and altitude of 32 kilometers. T plus 2 minutes. Vehicle is down, has an altitude of 50 kilometers, a velocity of 1,700 meters per second.
First stage performance is still nominal.
We are approaching main engine cutoff. There'll be a 5-second delay before stage separation.
Second stage tank pressure.
300 left.
Second stage tank stable. Eco.
Stage separation confirmed.
And Kestrel ignition.
Perfect.
Second stage ignition.
Capture maneuver.
You can hear
There
the
go
cheers
the
in the background from
stiffening
about 500
vans.
people
Captured.
here.
You can see the limb of the Earth in the upper left side
T
of the
plus 3
screen.
minutes. We have a relative velocity of 2,700.
The Kestrel engine will
70
burn for
meters
more
per
than
second
6
and an
minutes
altitude
during
of
the ride to orbit.
130
Here
kilometers.
we see fairing separation.
Fairing step.
There goes the
Fairing
fairing.
separation confirmed.
Second stage propulsion performance is nominal.
We're at 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the flight. We have a relative velocity of 2,800 meters per second and an altitude of 170 kilometers.
Second stage guidance is nominal.
T plus 4 minutes.
We're at T plus 4 minutes. We have a relative velocity of approximately 3,000 meters per second and an altitude of 200 kilometers.
You can see the Kestrel nozzle glowing a dull red. It's actually designed to glow almost white hot if necessary. Very steady attitude we're seeing.
We're at T plus 5 minutes. We have a relative velocity of approximately 3,200 meters per second and an altitude of 253 kilometers. All systems are nominal.
The vast majority of the acceleration occurs during this latter half of the second stage burn. As the mass of the vehicle, propellant load decreases.
We're at T plus 7 minutes. We have a relative velocity of 4,200 meters per second and an altitude of 315 kilometers. Beginning to lose stage 1 telemetry.
Second stage propulsion is performing nominally.
Guidance is performing nominally.
We are getting very close to orbital velocity.
5,200 meters per second and an altitude of 328 kilometers.
We appear to have loss of signal. That is not necessarily a bad thing. We were expecting to lose signal sometime around here. It can be highly variable depending on the weather conditions at the time. So we, of course, want to see what happens for the next 60 seconds. We were about 60 seconds away from a nominal shutdown. We will be getting back to you just as soon as we have more information.
Telemetry and video.
Here's behind us of our employees.
9 minutes 30 seconds.
Second stage approaching SECO.
And that would be a nominal SECO.
SECO's in confirmed.
Which means Falcon 1 has
Payload
made
separation
history as
confirmed.
the first privately developed launch vehicle to reach Earth orbit from the ground.
That was not.
Repeating, simulated payload deploy confirmed.
T plus 10 minutes.
You're seeing a forward shot. That is where you would
RTS,
normally
nice
see
job
a
on the
payload
video.
separation.
Thanks for
In
your
this
great
case,
support.
we are not separating the
Hey,
payload.
congratulations. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
And
Still showing active on second stage telemetry.
we are heading over the horizon with respect to the launch range, so we are expecting loss of signal any second now. You can see it starting to break up. But this is a very good day at SpaceX.
Max, I think it's important when we lose our signal here to put this in
They'll
perspective
see we have
of what
released
SpaceX has
safety
been able to
radars,
achieve today.
nominal mission.
Copy you,
Yes,
and
the
thank you for not using those
SpaceX
safety
has
radars.
designed and developed this vehicle from the ground up, from a blank sheet of paper. They've done all the design, all the testing in-house. We don't outsource. And we have achieved this with a company that is only now 500 people, and it has all occurred in under 6 years. And this is just the groundbreaker. This is just the vanguard of the much larger Falcon 9 launch vehicle debuting from Cape Canaveral next year, and the Dragon spacecraft that will be debuting in June of next year and will be providing cargo services to the International Space Station. So we have big plans even beyond that here at SpaceX, including human space transportation in the Dragon launch vehicle and on the Falcon 9 launch vehicle and the Dragon spacecraft. And this is really just the beginning. It's just the tip of the iceberg here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people here who have worked very hard for a very long time. Tremendous commitment from them and from their families to get to this point. It's really an incredible achievement.
You can hear the cheers in the background from the amazing team that we have here at SpaceX. Only about 550 people on the team, and we've just managed to do what very few companies around the world have ever done.
There's going to be celebration on Kwajalein tonight, I can tell you. Wish I was there.
Max, let's recap the launch for people who hopefully hadn't just tuned in. We had a picture-perfect launch, ride to space, and perfect separation. So, do you want to review the mission for us here?
Sure. We've gotten very close before now. The second launch of the Falcon 1 got to over 8 minutes of powered flight and got very close. We had a control issue with the second stage. Then the third flight, just 2 months ago, was a great flight from the first stage perspective, but we had a separation anomaly, as people know. And this time we got through first stage, we got through stage SEP, we got through fairing separation, and we got through over 6 minutes of second stage burn, and we reached a nominal orbit. So that vehicle is fully operational, and we just couldn't have expected a smoother countdown today and then a smoother execution today. Huge congratulations to the launch team there on Kwajalein.
And I know we had a lot of support from people from all over the world. We received thousands of emails wishing everybody well here. So I really want to thank all of you who have been with us since the beginning and watched us through our growth at SpaceX and continue to be part of our family here. We're hoping at some point to be able to get our CEO and CTO, Elon Musk, over to our live webcast, but we'll see where he is on the floor and hopefully at some point be able to have him over here to speak with you.
I'm hearing also that the coast phase telemetry is coming down as expected. We have a low-rate telemetry system translating information from orbit.
Yeah. What we're hearing in the background is Elon Musk addressing the employees of SpaceX.
Well, that's the thing. Hi. Hey. All right. What? Well, that was freaking awesome. We made orbit. It's like thanks to the hard work of basically the SpaceX team. All you guys. I mean, that's really what got us to orbit there. And there are a lot of people that thought we couldn't do it. A lot, actually. But, as the saying goes, fourth time's the charm, right? I mean, this really means a lot to SpaceX. Obviously, getting to orbit, that's just a huge milestone. There's only a handful of countries on Earth that have done it. It's normally a country thing, not a company thing. So it's just an amazing achievement. My mind's kind of frazzled, so it's kind of hard for me to say anything. But man, definitely, this is one of the greatest days of my life, and I think probably for most people here. It's we've shown people we can do it, and this is just the first step in many. We're going to get Falcon 9 to orbit next year, get the Dragon spacecraft going. We're going to be taking over for the space shuttle when that retires. This is we're going to do a lot of things. Ultimately, I think even getting to Mars and things like that. So I think this is definitely the future of SpaceX is really great. This is. Yeah, I don't know what else to say because it's just like so freaking awesome. My mind's blown. So it just, except just like I said, reaffirm. This is just the first step of many, and this really opens the way for us to, get Falcon 9 going, get manned space flight. I mean, there's just so many cool things that are there in the future. And I'm gonna have a really great party tonight. I don't know about you guys. So, I'm gonna go talk on the webcast thing, so I can tell people what went on. Yeah. RATSAT, I believe, is currently orbiting at 330 by 650. Almost exactly. RATSAT is in orbit, absolutely. So it got an apogee is about a couple hundred kilometers above the space station. So yeah, if somebody could take a picture of it, there'd be like this logo of a rat on the satellite. So all right, I'm going to talk in the webcast. But congratulations, everyone. This is your hard work that made this happen. Okay.
Now Elon Musk is joining us. Of course, is our CEO and CTO of this flight and the founder of SpaceX. And Elon, congratulations.
Thanks, Sam.
It's a fine day. A lot of people call this a nominal launch. We call it phenomenal.
Absolutely, it was great.
Tell us what you're feeling.
Definitely one of the best days of my life, and I think also for a lot of people here at SpaceX, it's the culmination of a dream, and it's just kind of mind-blowing, actually. So I can hear myself actually echoing back there. Yeah, I'm just, I think my nervous system almost got fried just watching that flight. So, yeah, wow.
I know I heard you the other day in an interview say that you wouldn't need to build any more rockets because if we were successful, you'd already be over the moon.
Right, exactly.
Is that true?
I think I probably am over the moon. Yeah.
And we missed some of what you were saying to the employees over there. We couldn't really hear online here. Are you able to repeat for some of this what you told your employees, like right after the launch?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess. I think the important thing is that this is really just the first step for SpaceX. We're really we've shown we can get to orbit, and we're going to do that repeatedly now. I think what we've shown is that we've eliminated any design errors with the vehicle. If you look at the issues with the first 3 flights, they were really design errors in the case of a corroded nut, and then the second stage guidance plus slush baffles thing, and then the third mission was the fact that we had a brand new engine with an uncharacterized thrust transient and vacuum. But now we've eliminated those design issues, and so really, in order for us to have continued success, it's going to be ensuring that we have good configuration control, good production and quality assurance processes, just doing all of the appropriate things as far as mission assurance is concerned. But I think it's certainly possible for us to have an unbroken success record now that the design issues are taken care of with Falcon 1, and also for Falcon 9, this bodes well because if you look at the components on Falcon 1, you've got the Merlin 1C engine on Falcon 1. It's the same engine that's on Falcon 9. Actually, let's move this thing. Sorry.
High technology.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of the same components on Falcon 1 as Falcon 9. In terms of the software, certainly guidance, navigation, and control is substantially the same between Falcon 1 and Falcon 9. The engine, propulsion system is substantially the same. There's more of them, more engines, but it's the same fundamental engine. And of course, we've already shown that we can do 9 engines simultaneously and fire those repeatedly on our test stand in Texas without a problem. So I think that what you're seeing here bodes well not just for Falcon 1, but also for Falcon 9. It's really just the first step for SpaceX. And next year we'll be doing our first launch for the NASA Commercial Orbital Transportation Services program, and with both Falcon 9 and our Dragon spacecraft.
Now, is the Falcon 9 going down to the Cape before the end of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. We expect to have Falcon 9 vertical at the Cape by the end of this year, and then probably do our first launch, in the second quarter of next year.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of sidebars here we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about our Cape construction and about COTS, but the launch went so perfectly and so perfectly on time
right.
that we had no time to do that. So we do have a lot on our website, but we're hoping that as time goes on, we'll be able to learn more about each one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. This was the smoothest launch countdown of all, and it just shows that the team's getting more and more practiced at these things, and the systems are getting smoother and smoother. All the bugs are getting worked out, and we look forward to doing a lot of Falcon 1 launches and a lot of Falcon 9 launches, and really, continuously improving to the point where we're the world's leading provider of space launch.
That's fantastic.
All right, thank you.
I'm so glad you could join us, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just fantastic.
All right.
So to all of you out there, we really appreciate your joining us on this historic day. To recap, SpaceX Falcon 1 very successfully launched to orbit, and in a picture-perfect launch, picture-perfect separation, and the mission was a total success. So we're elated here. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go join everybody else to celebrate our accomplishment. So thank you again for all joining in, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next launch. And check our website for updates, because we have a lot of information on there, and we'll be showing you things. We'll be showing you also the video from today's launch on our website, and also let us hear from you. Sign up for our newsletter, and also send us any of your comments at media@spacex.com. So again, thank you very much. I'm Diane Murphy, and good evening.